let's talk about writing, particularly good writing. It's the second to last day of classes for me in my full-time job as a writing instructor, and I'm feeling pretty reflective and a bit chatty regarding the question, can good writing be taught? So join me for a day on campus and let's talk about what it takes to become a good writer. Good morning and welcome to Vlogmas Day 4. It's all gonna go so fast. I have to remind myself to slow down and enjoy it every year, because it's very easy when you do Vlogmas to just get caught up in the filming and the editing and the publishing and all the thumbnails and video titles and all that. It's really easy to get distracted by all of that, and then before you know it, Vlogmas is over. It is Tuesday. It is a teaching day. So this vlog is probably gonna be a little bit different, but I do have something that I thought it would be really fun to talk about today. It just felt like this would be a good vlog to do that because I'm going and teaching. A couple months ago now, I think, on the Plot Twist podcast by Victoria Aveyard and Soman Chainani, their topic of the podcast episode was, can good writing be taught? And I have thoughts about that. I really enjoyed listening to their discussion as two published successful authors of slightly different genres and different audiences. It was really interesting and I agreed with a lot of what they had to say. So I will try to link it down below so you can go check that out because it was really good and I enjoy their podcast. But as a writer and a writing teacher who has studied, not just studied writing, but has specifically studied the teaching of writing, like theories and practices around the teaching of writing, and has now worked part-time or full-time as a writing instructor for over 10 years. I've got experience and I've got a lot of knowledge on this particular topic, and so I have thoughts. So I thought while I'm at work and while I'm in my office for office hours and while I'm walking around campus and teaching and all of that stuff, and while I can't speak to you all, voiceover Andrea will take over this discussion. And yeah, like I said, I've got thoughts on this topic, can good writing be taught? Because it is both a very simple answer but also a somewhat complex answer. It's not as simple of a question, I think, as some people would believe. So we'll get to that in just a moment. For now, I really need to go. So I'm leaving a little bit earlier than usual today because I want to go stop at a coffee shop to get myself a drink for the drive and for work, for office hours, but I also need gas in my car. So I'm gonna pop out, run those errands, and then get on the road, and then I will take you all with me for my second to last day on campus teaching for fall 2025. I have no idea where this semester has gone. Absolutely none. But there's only 2 days left. So let's go. So, can good writing be taught? Well, I'd be a pretty bad writing teacher if I said no. So yes, good writing can be taught. If all you wanted was the simple, shortest answer, there you go. I guess you could click off this video now, but I hope you'll stick around for the longer answer. Yes, good writing can be taught, but as someone who teaches required courses to undergraduate students who would rather be anywhere but my classroom, it's not really about whether good writing can be taught. Put 24 students in my classroom and let me work with them for 15 weeks. Each student gets the same lectures, the same activities, the same assignments. They all get the ability to submit drafts to me for feedback. Those who do get the same level of feedback, and they're all graded by me. At the end of those 15 weeks, I'll have taught those 24 students in the same way, but there will be 24 different levels of progress made. Now, multiply this by 5 classes per semester and 2 semesters per year. In one semester, I teach around 125-ish students. nearly 250 students per year, and I've been doing that full-time for more than 7 years and part-time for 5 years on top of that. So that's a large sample size to refer to. It's not a question of can good writing be taught. Does the writer want to learn how to be a good writer? Are they willing to do the work? Throughout my office hours today, I spoke with a few of my colleagues and fellow writing instructors, and while all of our answers differed slightly, we all recognized the importance of the student being willing to learn. And all of us being academics, they all asked the same questions and worked through the same thoughts that I did when I first heard this question on the Plot Twist podcast. How are we defining good? What qualifies? And how are we defining teaching? Because teaching can come in many forms. Formal education in a writing program, using learning platforms like Skillshare or Masterclass, not sponsored, watching YouTube videos, enrolling in continuing education courses at your local community college or university, reading books on writing craft. The opportunities for learning are endless. Personally, I've never taken a single creative writing class. I'd still say I'm a good writer. So circling back to that, what qualifies as good? One of my colleagues said, pretty definitively, that technique can be taught. But is good technique all that's needed to be a good writer? I don't think so. I don't have a full answer to this because I feel like good versus bad is very subjective. But one thing I would say is good writing, however we're defining good, isn't taught. Good writing is practiced. It's developed over time. It's a process of trying and trying again and failing again. It's writing stuff you hate, stuff you think is terrible, stuff you hope no one ever sees, and then writing some more. Learning to be a good writer requires throwing out ideas of good versus bad. It requires just writing with as little judgment as possible, and then stepping away from it and coming back an hour later, a day later, a week later, a month later, and reading through your writing with fresh eyes to learn from your strengths and your weaknesses. Now, I need to pause for a minute because it's time to get to class. Okay, office hours are done, and I have refilled my hot cup with tea, so hopefully that will keep me from having a sore throat or losing my voice. My voice is always so tired after teaching because it's nearly a 3-hour long class. I don't lecture for that whole time because no one wants that, me or the students. But I am talking a lot to the students when they're working on their stuff. But it was a very good office hours. Had one student come, so that was lovely. It's always nice when students come, but this was my last in-person office hours of the semester. I'll have my virtual ones on Thursday, but it's the last Tuesday, so it's the last Tuesday schedule because Thursday isn't the same schedule. So yeah, anyway, it's beautiful out, especially here in the shade. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. I brought a sweater. I don't need the sweater. I should have just left it, but I'm in a long sleeve t-shirt and I've got my lightweight scarf, and oh, it just feels so nice. I swear, during the fall semester, it's always the last 2, maybe 3 weeks of classes where it actually feels nice to walk around campus. But this is just making this week feel even better, knowing that I can just enjoy a nice relaxing walk to my classroom. But I've got to get going. I was chatting with my colleagues in the office, so I left about a minute later than I wanted to. So it'll give me a little bit less time to get logged in. But yeah, I'm excited. It's basically just a workshop day today, but it should be fun. I'm excited to see my students, and it's probably gonna go by very fast. All right, So we're ignoring the quest to be a good writer, and I put that in massive air quotes, because what does that mean anyway? But how do we learn to be a better writer? In a word, practice. This is the answer no one likes. And maybe that's why generative AI has become so tempting to so many, and why most writing teachers absolutely abhor it. There is no shortcut to better writing. You have to just write, and write some more, and then some more, and then more writing, and then even more writing. And that's it. That's the secret. Oh, and reading. The more you read, the more you will learn about writing. I get asked a lot about what writing craft books I recommend, and I will do a video on that soon, but the short answer is very little about what I've learned about writing has come from craft books. That's not to say that craft books are bad or that they don't teach you anything. They definitely do. But you still have to practice the things they talk about. And you also have to learn how to not take any craft book or textbook from a writing course as gospel. Writing advice is meant to be learned, absorbed, and then mixed with other advice you take in. None of it should be applied or stuck to rigidly. If everyone followed Save the Cat or Romancing the Beat, every book would be the same. If everyone followed the advice of no adverbs, thanks Stephen King, or other silly rules to do this or don't do that, writing would all start to sound the same. Actually, generative AI is a really good case in point for this. LLMs are all following standard rules of writing. And guess what? It's all pretty boring and generic. You have to be a competent writer to take what Gen AI spits out and make it something decent, at which point you may as well just write it yourself, but that's another story. You have to know how and when to break the rules and develop your own voice. And guess what? Your voice as a writer doesn't develop overnight. One of my colleagues mentioned a truly excellent and notable writer in the topic that my friend studies. My friend posed the counter question to me, can one be taught how to write like this particular writer? His answer was no, you can't be taught how to write like someone else. No matter how hard you try, you'll never fully capture someone else's voice or style. Your writing will always ring hollow as an echo of that other writer. This is by seeing reports of authors prompting an LLM to write a horror story in the style of such and such famous author. It's heartbreaking. You're just asking for trouble. It will always come across as a poor copy of good writing. A writer who is committed to the act and practice of writing will take the time to develop their voice, and they won't rush it. I've published 9 books and written 12, and I'm still figuring out my voice as a writer. Voice and tone and style, pacing and momentum, plot and storytelling, characterization, these are all aspects of the writing craft, and they can all be learned and developed over time, but there are no shortcuts to that. Writing is a process journey, not a product journey. If you're only focused on the end product, you're not going to be fully engaged in the process. And that's where the magic happens. Don't shortchange yourself. Okay, class is done, and I'm back at my car. Let's chat for a minute before I drive home. Okay, this is lovely lighting. It is the end of the day. I would say what time, but I'm vlogging on my phone and my watch is dead. My watch died literally right as well, it didn't die until on my way to class or something. But when I was pulling into the parking garage, I got the 10% warning. I swear I charged it last night. I don't know if it fell off the charger without me realizing it, or if it just died overnight, because sometimes that happens. I know I need to update it. I feel like every time it gets close to needing an update, the battery just starts to die. So yeah, I'm very annoyed at that, because I do like tracking my stats throughout the day. Class went really well. It was mostly a workshop day. We did a live draft review where students volunteer, and I put the volunteers' papers up on the big screen and go through it like I was editing it Like I edit their paper live in front of the whole class, essentially. And students love this. They're scared about it the first couple times we do it in the semester, but by the end, like, even if they're not scrambling to volunteer, they still, like, they're really paying attention and they really enjoy it because it's really, really helpful. So we did that, and then before and after that, we did that kind of in the middle. So at the beginning of class, I went through a checklist I've created for them to use while they're editing their papers of all the things that lead to common point deductions and just things that lead to common weaknesses, things that will make their proposals is what they're writing, social media proposals. So the common things that just make them weaker and that therefore lead to point deductions. So we did that. Then I gave them open work time to get ready for the live draft review. And then we did the live draft review, and then we went back to open work time. And what I love about open work time, and I can only do it when I'm teaching in an A or a B fully in-person class, because we have 2 hours and 45 minutes for the whole class period, I can spend an hour of that class time just as an in-class workshop, letting them work on their projects and then allowing them the opportunity to kind of bring their computer up to me or flag me down. I'll go sit next to them at their desk and look through their document and give them feedback. It's kind of like mini conferences, which this class takes up so much time, and it's only in 7.5 weeks. So I can't cancel a week of classes to do Zoom conferences like I do when I teach hybrid. But it means that we just do mini conferences throughout. I feel like they end up getting more one-on-one time from me in this format. So I'm going to be really sad on Thursday when that's it and when it's all done. But yeah, I love these students because, like I will kind of be discussing or have been discussing in the B-roll voiceover bits, to be a good writer, you have to be willing to learn how to be a good writer. And so many of these students in the A and B session, because they get so much face time with me and so much one-on-one time with me in the class, where they can ask me questions, they can show me their work, and I can give them feedback like live right there in the moment. And they can see my reaction, and they can see me like pausing to think about things and think about my feedback, and like they kind of can see me going through the editing process. I just feel like that has a much stronger impact on them. And so I just feel like I end up persuading them and like showing, like, my passion for writing comes across most strongly in an in-person environment. I can do it in an online class, but it is much harder. And I can do it in a hybrid class, but it's much less time with me in the classroom, because essentially one class day is online. So I don't know. I have had, and I'll probably talk more about this on Thursday, but I have had such a magical experience this semester teaching the A session and now this B session. Just getting so much time in the classroom with these students and getting to know them, getting to understand their voice as a writer and how they approach writing, and being able to kind of articulate those things for the students so that they can start to notice that. Y'all, this is the stuff that I just get really excited about. But it is probably almost 5 now. Class got out at 4:15. So I need to get home, and I need to get cozy, and I need to get dinner. I'm so hungry. And Vlogmas, just crashing on the couch and watching. Tomorrow's Vlogmas is already edited. I was super ahead. I got that done this morning. So I truly can just go home and relax now. So I am definitely looking forward to a super, super cozy evening. It feels so good to finally be relaxing on the couch. Now, where were we? Let's circle back to the original question and some closing advice. So, can good writing be taught? only if you're willing to learn. Be willing to learn. Writing is communication, and communicating is a primal need. Every animal species has some way of communicating with each other. We humans have developed multiple languages and forms of writing to share our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences, our desires, our histories. Writing isn't about being good or bad. Anyone can be a writer, and even bad writing is still valid. Obviously, if you want to publish and compete in the market, which if you're watching this video, you probably have that goal in mind, you'll need to be the best writer you can be and produce strong work that can stand up on its own against other books on the bookshelves. But there are so many paths to a good book. A story that makes us turn the pages at a rapid rate, characters we fall in love with, twists and turns that keep us guessing, poetic prose that paints a vivid picture in the mind of the reader. Very few writers can do all of these things, but successful writers tend to lean into their strengths in these or other areas, and that's what makes their books so compelling. Also, remember, what I consider a 5-star read is probably not going to be something you consider a 5-star read. Reading is subjective, and every reader is going to approach your story differently. So write the story that you really care about, then get feedback on it. Get as many eyes on your draft as possible. Rewrite it, edit it, rewrite it again, work through different versions of it, get more feedback. I really can't emphasize enough the importance of feedback and revision. That's where the real nitty-gritty work of writing happens. That's where you pour blood, sweat, and tears into it. That's where you crash out, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back to work. And now we're almost at the end. Maybe there's one question that's lingering in your mind. We've talked about good writing, but what if you want to be a great writer? I've got a few thoughts on that, so keep watching. The camera is literally nestled into a blanket on the back of the couch. So it's pretty sturdy. I don't think it'll fall off as long as I don't move around too much. It's been a very cozy evening. I'm just enjoying my treat. I am not going to want to take this down in January. I can tell that already. But I'm going to wrap this vlog up. Hope you've enjoyed it. This one's a little bit weird because I haven't recorded half of it, basically, because a lot of it is going to be voiceovers. Hopefully it's been interesting. But yeah, I had a lot of thoughts about this whole topic of, can good writing be taught? I feel like you get slightly different answers depending on who you talk to. Like, as I mentioned at the beginning of this vlog, Victoria and Soman have different perspectives coming at this question as successful, traditionally published authors who've been writing for years. And it's not that I disagreed with anything they said in their original podcast. I actually agreed with most of what they said. So if you haven't watched that podcast, I would recommend going and watching that episode. Like I said, I'll try to link it below in the description box. But I kind of wish that they would have talked about it more. And I also feel like it's something where you do need different perspectives. And so, like, even talking to 3 of my colleagues at work, all 3 of them had slightly different perspectives. We all ultimately agreed that, yes, to a certain extent, good writing can be taught, but ultimately it's about, is the writer willing to learn? That's kind of the crux of the issue. But we all have different perspectives on kind of the smaller nuances of that. And so, yeah, this has been percolating in my head since watching that podcast episode on their YouTube channel. I think my reason for wanting to do this topic, like talk about this, is I hope that if you have felt hesitant to write, or if you have felt like it's too late for you, or you're never going to be good enough, or you shouldn't bother trying to write because you're never going to be good enough. Like, I really hope that if nothing else, I've made you think twice about those sorts of thoughts. Because truly, anyone who wants to write can write. And anyone who wants to be a good writer can learn and grow to be a good writer. To be a great writer, I think, is an ambition you shouldn't have. I don't write to be a great writer. I write to be a better writer with the next book than I was with the previous book. And as long as the next book is a little bit better, either technically or character-wise or plot-wise or in terms of my prose or whatever, as long as some element or multiple elements are better in the next one and I'm like making progress, I'm happy. I said this to one of my colleagues in the office because we got on the topic of like what makes a great writer, and it's so subjective. Like, there are classic writers who people love and rave about that I can't stand. That I don't think their writing is that great. And also, the thing that I told my friend is that anyone who goes around telling you they're a great writer probably isn't actually that great. Because a truly great writer, I think, is the person who never settles for what their current ability is. They're always pushing themselves to be a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. I don't think a great writer ever feels like they've become a great writer. So, can great writing be taught? Again, that really comes back to the writer. Is the writer willing to learn and grow and go on that journey of self-discovery with their writing and push their boundaries and their comfort levels and step out of their comfort zone and try new things and different things? I think for the writer who is willing to do that, then yeah, you might one day approach something similar to greatness. But I just think being a great writer is an ambition. Just throw that out the window. Like, I'm not trying to be a great writer. I'm trying to be a better writer, and I'm trying to write stories that I enjoy and that my readers enjoy, and that's all that matters. So yeah, I hope this has been an interesting video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'd really appreciate both of those things. Leave me some notebook and pencil emojis for the whole school and writing class vibe of this vlog, and to let me know which one of you lovely people have made it all the way to the end of this vlog, because you are the real MVPs. And then our question, chime in. Agree with me, disagree with me, extend my argument, whatever you want to do. But what are your thoughts on, can good writing be taught? I would love to continue this conversation in the comments. So that is our question for the vlog. Links to all of my things are in the description box. My newsletter, which is free, and my Patreon, which is $5 a month and goes to support me, an indie author. And this month, if you join for this month, or any month going forward, you'll still have access to it. I am uploading a chapter a day of a new short Christmas romance. So as you are watching this, day 4 will be live now. So yeah, there's the link to Patreon is in the description box below, along with links to all of my books if you are looking for something to read over the Christmas season. If you are so inclined to check any or all of those things out, I would be very appreciative. Oh, also, I almost forgot, but I had another comment about this. So that brings this up to 3 people this has happened to. If you are getting emails from someone claiming to be me, from it sounds like it's a Gmail account with my name, but then some numbers after it, ignore it. It is not me. I am not cold emailing anybody. I'm not offering any services. I have offered services in the past. They are all currently on pause. I don't know what they're saying to people, if it's the same thing for everyone or if they're doing different messages to different people, but I'm not emailing any of you, and I'm really annoyed that this is happening. I feel so bad, but there's like, I've not been hacked. They are truly just making up an email and pretending to be me, and so there's nothing I can do about that. Please let me know if you have gotten one of those. I'd like to keep an eye on the numbers, but yeah, it's not me. And I will probably try to remind you of this throughout Vlogmas, and hopefully it will all just kind of die down. So yeah, I hope it stops. I hope it goes away, because this is really not fun. I guess this is what happens when you have a video just kind of really take off. The scammers come out of the woodwork. And on that note, I am going to go, but I will join you all down in the comments to continue chatting about writing, and I will see you all tomorrow in we're already up to day 5. Am I doing that right? Yeah. I told you it's gonna go fast. I'll see you all tomorrow in day 5. Bye!